And welcome back to American Agenda. I'm Heather Childers along with Bob Sellers. As President Biden tries to push along yet another infrastructure plan, Republicans are pushing right back, counter-offering something to his $2 trillion proposal, with one that costs about half the price as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. Gas prices, lumber prices, all of that increasing. So what is this really costing Americans? Let's bring in our panel to discuss once again. And Bob, I'll start with you, because you and I were just discussing during the break about, inflation and what will be impacted. Will it really happen, and will everything continue to rise?
Well, the money that they've given away, where does that go? People are going out and spending it. It goes into the economy, even as we naturally, as President Trump predicted, we'd have a V-shaped recovery.
Right.
That's pretty much what we've gotten. And if you would let it recover on its own, I think you get a lot of growth. We're already at 6.4% the last quarter. That's strong. Some people think we're going to get double digits this quarter. Do you need to throw more fuel on that fire as it recovers? No.
Right.
That's what creates inflation. Now, if you keep doing that, you keep giving away money, that will create inflation. If they want to stop it where it is, they better not keep passing all these $1 trillion. I mean, it's Bill. You're a politically active guy and have been for years. Did you ever think you'd just be thrown around? Well, we'll come down a trillion.
Trillion,
you come up
trillion.
$1 trillion. Do you ever think that would be the conversation?
No, I'm old enough to remember when TARP was passed, and that was $800 billion. And I think the American people and the Congress almost choked on that amount. So, I mean, in order to see what's happening here, I mean, to date, we've spent $5 to $6 trillion already on pandemic recovery. And I think what the American people are saying, especially with this infrastructure package, they're willing to make investments that are going to have a return on investment,
right,
meaning it's going to help the American economy compete in this generation and the next, to modernize our roads, our bridges, our ports, our airports, rural broadband, water infrastructure, the things, the basic hard infrastructure that we need to be competitive globally as an economy. The American people will get behind that. They're not going to get behind social engineering disguised as infrastructure to push a political agenda. They want to see their jobs returned, they want to go back to work, and they want to make sure that their kids have an economic future.
Yeah, everyone talking about what is the definition of infrastructure. That should be a pretty simple answer, but instead we're talking about the social engineering, the social justice issues, climate issues, and including all of that. Even President Trump, though, was weighing in on the price of things, including the wild gas prices under the Biden administration. Listen to this.
Inflation is going to be a big problem. It's going to drive a lot of things up and down, whichever is worse, because bad things happen with inflation, but you see that happening all over. Lumber, the cost of lumber, the cost of gasoline. You look at gasoline, what's happened. I was at 287, was high. That's when I got involved.
Right.
And it was in the 3s and a little bit in the 4s, and then came in and I had it under $2. I had it for $1.87 actually, and when I left it was under $2 substantially, and now it's going to be hitting $4, and that's bigger than any tax increase you can think of, especially for middle-income people.
Derrick?
Guys, one of the things I talk about the most, issues I address, is energy poverty, which occurs when individuals aren't able to afford basic heating and electric and energy needs. And so if you were struggling before COVID to pay your energy and electric bills, you definitely want to feel the pain right now. I've gone before Congress, most recently before the House Energy and Commerce Committee, talking about this. And what's very misleading about this legislation that's coming out of the Democratic Party right now is under the guise of things like environmental justice. Well, in your mind, you're saying, well, what's wrong with environmental justice? When you pull back the covers, they're trying to get this. It's an attack on the oil and gas industry and all the jobs associated with it. And with this infrastructure package, one of the things that's being pushed back on by the Republicans is Joe Biden's going back on his word about how he was going to use natural resources here in this country as it relates to going forward with all of his Green New Deal, with electric vehicles and that kind of thing. He just said yesterday that he wants all the minerals and that's going to be necessary for these electric vehicles to come from other countries.
Oh my.
And people here in the United States right now are very upset, especially the mining industry.
Absolutely, as they should be, and then when you talk about the prices, Jesse Jane, it's not just lumber and gas prices. You have steel, poultry, beef, seafood, egg, fruits and vegetables, coffee, all of those rising.
Everything relies upon fossil fuels, despite what the Democrats want us to believe. When you look at what they want in many of their policies, Ocasio-Cortez's desire to have the Green New Deal would cost $93 trillion over a period of 10 years and cost over 11 million jobs. There is no rationalization for this. Under President Trump, we were energy independent. Now we are dependent. Walking into the White House on his first day and cutting off the Keystone Pipeline, and then fast forward 90 days later, and he is now supporting Putin in his pipeline. The hypocrisy, the way that he has degraded our economic prosperity is mind-boggling and head-scratching. To suggest that we're all going to survive off of wind and electric cars is ignoring the mere fact that you cannot always, those are not reliable sources of energy. We also were able to have energy independence in our nation for the first time under President Trump. We no longer have that.
All right. Well, thank you, panel. Stand by, because up next, we're bringing you the full exclusive Steve Cortes interview with former President Trump next when American Agenda returns.